Ken Hicks, Precinct 1,
About half, maybe.
Precinct Watch.
Okay, yeah, basically it's, the sheriff only has like 2 deputies normally on duty throughout the whole county. Now again, that we're talking rural, we're not talking the cities and things. But, so what the sheriff wants is citizens to be his eyes and ears. That's really the gist of what the Precinct Watch program is all about. And again, it's sanctioned by the sheriff, and it's run through the sheriff's department, and the commissioners are sanctioned. But I don't know if you're aware, but Zandt County is 70% the size of Rhode Island. We're talking 859 square miles, so that's a big area. And when you only have 2 deputies, one north of I-20 and one south of I-20 on patrol, it leaves a little thin, you know, in regards to keeping an eye out for, you know, crime and that kind of thing. So the different precincts, they meet once a month. Precinct 1, we meet the 3rd Tuesday of the month, and we meet in Grand Saline, 7 o'clock. So anybody wants to join us, you're more than welcome. We meet at the Federal Housing Authority Community Center, which is Houston. Like let's see what's the address there. Anyway, yeah. And Precinct 2, they meet the last Tuesday of the month. Precinct 3 meets on the 2nd Tuesday of the month in Wills Point. And then Precinct 1 meets on the 1st Thursday after the 1st Tuesday at Edom Community Center. So I got to give you an idea, you know, that, and then they have an executive meeting here in Canton, which is usually the 1st Tuesday of the month. So anyway, the program, PWP membership, is open to all county citizens, but you do have to pass a limited background check, and you have to be at least 21. So, and one of the things that they're doing, and you might see this, is recently PWP purchased 50 highway signs. So as you're driving around, I think there's maybe one out here on 64 and one down 19. You might see these big signs that talk about the Precinct Watch program. And what's unique about the Precinct Watch program is it is the only county-wide crime prevention program in the nation, as far as we know.
So you were the first.
I guess. Yeah. Now they've had, you know, like Crime Watch, but usually it's a neighborhood Crime Watch thing. It's just for small localities and for, you know, communities and cities. But this is the first county-wide program, as far as we know. Okay, so what are the opportunities? Why would you want to be involved with Precinct Watch program? The primary opportunity for volunteers is to patrol. And basically you patrol with 2 people, and you're just eyes and ears. You drive around, you have to go through a training prior to going on patrol, where they teach you to recognize suspicious activity, evaluate situations, and how to properly report what you see. I mean, you may see a U-Haul truck, you know, loading furniture out of a house, you know, and it looks a little suspicious, you know, like maybe it's late at night or something, you know. And so they don't want you to get out and confront anybody. You just maybe take the address down, maybe take a license plate number off the truck or something, you know, just get some information and then just report it. And if it is a crime, then the sheriff's department will follow up on it. So again, when you're on patrol, there's always 2 members, and we have these. See my van out there? I've got one of these magnetic placards on the side of it that identifies as SAS Patrol. So when we're cruising kind of slow through the community, we don't want people to think that we're casing their place or something, like we're the bad guys. So anyway, yeah, and again, it's just eyes and ears. You're not law enforcement. You're not supposed to, you know, try to apprehend anybody, and that's the primary program with the Precinct Watch program. Second thing that they're coming up with, and this is a fairly new program, is what we call the Safeguard Our Seniors, which is SOS program. And what this is to reach out to seniors that maybe have health issues, disabilities, that can't get out very well, and to kind of basically build a relationship with them and be able to help them with regards to setting their home up to make it maybe more secure. There's a couple things, but it's primarily an outreach to keep them from being vulnerable to crime activity. And one of the things that we want to do with this program is make seniors aware of some of the scams that are going on. It seems like a lot of these telephone scams or stuff are gearing towards seniors because, you know, they're not real sure about things, and you know, and they'll call and try to get their information. And so seniors need to be aware that there's a lot of scams out there. And so that's one of the programs, and that's one of the trainings that we have too. When we have our meetings, we're trained about what some of the more recent scams that are going around. Another thing that we do with the seniors is we give them an emergency contact sheet that they can fill out, or we'll help them fill it out, put on their refrigerator. So if there's let's say a health issue or something where there's an emergency responder, or maybe a police officer, you know, if there's been a crime, all their information is right there on the refrigerator. And it really comes in handy too in disaster preparation, so that they have a list of what their meds are, who contact people are, maybe immediate family in the area, things like that. They can put on one of these emergency contact information sheets.
Who issues your updates?
Who's what?
Who issues your updates of the what you said, the scams that are going on?
Oh, who does the updates?
Mhm.
Gentlemen that have worked with the Sheriff's Department before. We have Anthony that comes in and gives us training on what the local scams are. And he's a retired police officer and works fairly closely with the county. So maybe Doug, maybe you know a little more about Anthony?
No, that's.
Okay. But yeah, it's the Sheriff's Department's the one that basically brings in individuals that pass on the information and things for us.
Okay.
And that's why these meetings that we have once a month are pretty informative. Yeah, another thing is just having a handout that we can give to the seniors to let them know what resources are available within the county, you know, to provide senior services and that kind of thing. And another thing too is once we have a list of seniors in our patrol areas, then we'll go in and maybe one of our patrol units will actually do an initial security check and let them know, you know, well, you don't want to leave, you know, valuable things like a lawnmower sitting out in your front yard. You know, that's inviting a theft. And, you know, show them that, you know, maybe 10, 20 years ago, you know, you could leave your doors unlocked, but nowadays it's not a good idea. And, yeah, and also, you know, they can do periodically, if we know who these seniors are, periodically stop by and say hello, how's everything going? Just do like a check to make sure that they're okay. And in fact, one of the things too that a lot of people didn't think about, but that you can have right next to your bed would be like your alarm car key. So if you leave your car key next to your bed, a lot of these newer cars, you know, they've got a button where you can hit the panic button and your car alarm will go off.
Mm-hmm.
This is an idea that Doug sent me an email on this, and I think it's a great idea. And you know, a lot of times, anything that attracts attention to somebody trying to break into your house is going to scare them off. And so if all of a sudden your car alarm goes off while you hear somebody breaking in, then there's another thing, you know, that we can share with seniors and stuff. They probably didn't think about these kind of things. Another thing that opportunities that they're planning on for the future is to have a call-out program for low-risk incidents for assistance for the Sheriff Department or disaster response. So that, let's say there was a rather large grass fire or something like that, and they needed some extra help, maybe with traffic control, things like that. We're hoping that they'll start using PWP members to help in those kind of situations. That was one of the kind of things that we did with CERT out in California. So another thing that we're planning for PWP members is to offer different training programs. One of the ones that we're working on, and we'd actually set it up for August, but too many people were on vacation, so we postponed it, is having a CPR first aid class. And I don't know how many of you have current CPR first aid certificates, but very good. I used to have one. I used to be an instructor, but mine's lapsed. So I'd like to take take the training again. But that's one of the things